Hi everyone, my name is Taherah and today is Tuesday, which means it's time to discuss our book of the week, which is Circle of Liars by Kate Francis. First, this is a spoiler-free section, so if you haven't read this book yet, don't worry about it. It won't be spoiled for you here. There will be some spoiler-related things that I want to discuss, but that'll be later on in the video, and you will get plenty of warning. If you'd like to join in on any of the book discussions, send me your thoughts, comments, or even a short video clip of you discussing the book, then I'll list the next upcoming 4 books in the description below. So I won this book as part of a giveaway by the author, but Fee's Love for Books had already done a review on it, and we tend to have fairly similar-ish taste in books, so I was already really looking forward to reading this one, and I knew that I wanted to do it as part of book club. Usually I go into books fairly blind, but for once I actually read the back of this one, and immediately I knew it was my sort of vibe, because I love a good isolation thriller. It was easy to read and full of twists that had you guessing and coming up with theories throughout. It also had a fantastic, diverse group of characters that challenged cliché stereotypes. I rated this book 4.5 stars. It was a really interesting read, and while I did guess some of the plot twists, I really don't think it can count as me actually guessing, because it was always moments before it was fully revealed, while the characters are coming up with their own theories and while the author is dropping hints. Which personally I think is a great balance, because you get that gratification for kind of guessing, but also at the same time you have no clue for the majority of it. It was a great book, it was nice and easy to read, while at the same time being proof that a book doesn't need to be dumbed down or have super naive characters in order to cater for a YA audience, but also still being super entertaining to an adult one as well. A lot of the time on this channel, when I have discussed YA books and I haven't enjoyed them, I've said that the characters felt too naive for their age and it felt too obvious. A lot of the time the response has been, well, what do you expect? It's a YA book, it's not meant for you, as though I shouldn't really be reading them. In fact, I've actually been told before now that I shouldn't be. And my response to that is, 1, read what you want, and 2, I can guarantee that at 15, my thoughts on the matter would have been the exact same as it is now. Yes, the characters should seem young and a little bit naive, but there is a big difference between that and treating all teenagers like they're dumb. Now, all of that to say that I think that this author did a great job of writing these characters as age appropriate. Okay, so quick summary. 7 teens arrive at a school retreat, only to find themselves in an abandoned motel with a sinister message waiting for them. I know what you did a year ago. Each of the 7 buried a guilty secret about their tragic school fire, and now someone is out for revenge. Every hour they must choose the guiltiest one among them to step over the white line that circles the motel and be killed. Otherwise they all die. But who deserves to live and who to die, because only one of them can survive. If I was to compare this to any other book, I feel like I would have to say 5 Survive by Holly Jackson. It's another easy to read isolation thriller that is full of secrets and twists. I guess I could also compare it to One of Us is Lying, however, I definitely preferred Circle of Liars. I think this is sort of what I wanted that book to be, but with a much better ending. Isolation thriller and horror's got to be one of my favourite subgenre of books and film, and I remember from doing my review on Holly Jackson's 5 Survive that, some people kind of thought it was cliched and they didn't like this element of a group of people being trapped in one place because of their secrets. And honestly, just to go on another little side quest of a tangent, but it really winds me up when I see this, because I think that people often overuse or generally just don't understand the word cliche. Because it isn't a cliche, it is a subgenre and a trope, and it literally tells you in the synopsis that that's what the book is about. So if that subgenre is not for you, then don't read it. Like, I don't read a paranormal romance and call it a cliche because it turns out that there's a paranormal character in it. I love this genre because it's tense, it has great mystery, and usually has this ticking clock sort of element. While it might not be a super uncommon trope, I thought that this book was a fun read. It had its own unique and interesting spins, and I thought that the ending and all of the twists were fantastic. The chapter lengths were great. They helped to maintain this consistent level of tension, and in my opinion, the book length was ideal. I did have a couple of very minor issues, however, I'm not even really sure that you could call them issues. Unfortunately, they are way too specific to discuss in this section, so you're just going to have to make sure that you give the book a read before continuing on with the spoiler section later on in the video. So as for the question, would I recommend the book? Absolutely. In fact, I have already recommended it to a couple of people, and this book was recommended to me in the first place, and I'm really glad that it was. As I said, it gives a little bit of Holly Jackson vibes, especially 5 Survive, and I really like her writing as well. So will I be reading any more by Kate Francis? Absolutely. I mean, I don't know if she has any more plans for any books anytime soon, but if and when she does, I will be getting my hands on them as soon as I can. So earlier on in the video, I said that you would get plenty of warning for any upcoming spoilers. This is that moment, so if you haven't read this book yet, I would suggest going and doing that first, because beyond this point, there will absolutely be spoilers. So as I said, I really enjoyed this book. I feel like I've said almost everything. I did have a couple of very minor issues with it, if that's what you even want to call it. It's mostly just pure annoyance at the character Matt Hunt. So I get why you might be upset, but his son still started the fire. Like, he might not have meant for anyone to get hurt or himself, but actions have consequences, and he still started the fire. But I do understand wanting to clear up the full truth about it, as his son wasn't the only one behind it, and it wasn't done under the malicious intent that everyone was led to believe. And I understand his anger towards Ellis. He has a lot of guilt on his shoulders. But in Ellis's guilt, the fact that he paid the kid to start the fire in order to interrupt the game, it kind of absolves the others of some of their guilt. Okay, so starting with Jade, what she did was horrible. But she wasn't the reason that he started the fire in the first place. I guess you could argue that her treatment of him could have made him more susceptible to accepting the deal to start the fire in the first place. However, I think it was just a score, and he didn't really anticipate it being as disastrous as it was, so it didn't really have anything to do with her. So while what Jade did obviously wasn't good, it wasn't really a factor, but I could still understand why Hunt might be upset with her. Then we have Jax, and what he did had absolutely nothing to do with what started the fire. I mean, he shouldn't have profited from the video, but as for not saving someone in the fire, absolutely nobody, unless they were in that situation, would be able to say for certain what they would do in that moment of panic. So while it might not be great, who's to say that if he had intervened or tried to help, he wouldn't have ended up hurt or worse, and nobody can control their fight or flight response. Then there's Gorden. Obviously what he was doing, again, wasn't great, but he had nothing to do with the fire. Then there's Rhea. I mean, should she have told someone? Absolutely. But as a teenager, I can understand maybe why she didn't, and I'm not sure that I would have believed him either. Then there's Alex and Anna, who really don't have anything to do with the fire. I mean, for starters, their counselor might be a bad one, but he's probably right in the fact that Anna has some form of survivor's guilt. I mean, what happened to her brother was absolutely not her fault, and then with Alex and his song, it seemed to have nothing to do with the fire, despite him seeming to get so much blame in the beginning, mostly from himself. But then Matt Hunt sort of implied that what he was doing was also kind of helping them. I mean, he asked Anna if she felt better after everything, and she kind of sort of did, but it's a hell of a traumatic experience to put on a bunch of kids who really didn't deserve it. I could tell pretty early on that Jax was going to be the problem for everyone. It had me practically shouting down at the book at Jade and Jax for that matter to just get them to think about things logically. I mean, once the others were out of the picture, who did they think were going to be next, considering that he really wasn't doing all that much to try and help and come up with the plan to get them all out of there safely? The moment I started to catch up with what Ellis may have done was when they were trying to come up with 4-letter words to put in the door to unlock it, and I remembered the note from the very beginning. Like, Ellis had pretty quickly swiped up the note, which at the time I thought was odd, but I just thought maybe he was pinching it for himself. It wasn't until we saw the note pinned to the board that I realised what he may have actually have done, and even then I didn't fully believe it until he said it, because I couldn't come up with a reason why. The big twist at the end, with everyone still being alive, I only really started to piece that together as Anna was also kind of thinking that that might be the case. We didn't know what Anna was thinking at the time, but I was also on the same sort of thought process as her, which was really satisfying. Anyway, this has actually been quite a long one this week, but let me know what you thought. Did you enjoy the book? Next week we'll be discussing This Woven Kingdom by Taherah and Mafi, so don't forget to get your thoughts and comments in by Sunday the 10th of August at the latest to be a part of the discussion. You can now do this on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram or Discord. The following week will be The Gifted Chain, but don't forget if you do need a little bit longer to read a book, we do now list the next 4 books down below, along with the discussion dates. That way you can choose the genre that best suits you, and the best time frame to read it in. Thank you all for joining, and if you like this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe, it's always appreciated, and I will see you next week. Bye! If you like romance, fantasy, or even thriller, basically anything fiction book related, then I suggest you head on over to the channel's intro video, where you can find out more information on how you can take part in this online book club. We announce books at least 4 weeks in advance, and we accept your bookish feedback in a wide manner of ways. Post your comment below a video, send in a voice note, or even send me a short video clip of you discussing the book. Alternatively, you can just send me a direct message.